Hello. Right, today we're making a Katsu chicken burger with a garlic aioli. We'll start with these 6 chicken thighs. You don't have to cook this many, but I'm cooking for 6 today, so I've got all these. Scale the ingredients accordingly. 250 grams of all-purpose plain flour. Curry powder. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of that. You can buy, I make my own. Pepper, I don't make my own. And salt, teaspoon each of those we're going to put in the flour for the dredging. This is white miso paste. We're going to spread this on the chicken. Adds a little bit of a marinade, adds a nice little note to it. Panko breadcrumbs, as many as you can possibly get your hands on. We're going to use a couple of cups of that one. And eggs, 3 eggs. And to the eggs I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce, a teaspoon or 2 of that one. Right, that's a battering for our chickens. Here we go, it's all in place. So we get our flour, pop it into one of the bowls there. Let's add a little bit of the curry powder. A couple of tablespoons of this just to season the flour. There we go. And a couple of teaspoons of 1 of pepper and then 1 of salt. And that's all we need really to season it. Nothing more fancy than that. Give that a little whisk to combine it all. Get it all in and combined. Good, that's looking good. Okay, let's move that out of the way and on with the panko breadcrumbs. I can use normal breadcrumbs, but pankos give a much more traditional finish, around about 2 or 3 cups. Try and get them. They're ever so easy to get hold of nowadays, so there's no excuse. They don't need seasoning, that's it really. And then the eggs, whole eggs, we're going to pop in these, not half eggs, whole eggs. And just give them a little whisk. Let's do some fancy one-handed work there. Look at me go. Good. Right. Okay, there they are. And now we just want a drop of soy sauce into this. 1, 2, that'll do us. Right, let's give that a little whisk up as well. Good. These are all the ingredients you need for the breading really. We'll pop it in the flour first, then the egg, then into the breadcrumbs. There's no double dipping or anything like that with these, a single coat will be sufficient. That looks nice and whisked up. Lovely. Right, let's get these out of the way. Right, and then the chicken magically appears. I'd just rub the miso paste onto the chicken and pop them in the fridge. You need a couple of hours overnight if you've got it, but 2 hours is sufficient. Just smear on 6 chicken thighs, about 2-3 tablespoons of white miso. You can get white miso and red miso. I use white in this one, it's slightly sweeter. It's also great in desserts, miso, funnily enough. Certain ones anyway. Just to give these a little coat like this. Keep 1 hand for the wet, 1 hand for the dry, and you'll find you've got less mess. Just 1 sticky hand. Give it a good press down, you get good coverage. There we go, and then we'll pop those onto there. You can do them and then leave them by the side whilst you're doing everything else. Right, on with the curry sauce now. So we're going to start with 500 mils of chicken stock. We've got our vegetables, carrots, a pear, 2 medium onions, and garlic cloves, around about 5 garlic cloves. Our spices, we've got a couple of tablespoons of curry powder, a couple of tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of MSG, that's optional, 2 teaspoons of garam masala, and a tablespoon or 2 of flour, 2 tablespoons of flour to be precise. Oh, and honey. Yeah, I forgot about this. About 1 or 2 tablespoons of honey is going to add a nice sweetness to this. I'm trying to keep the flavour similar to what you get at Wagamama's. And with this, you just want to roughly chop up the carrots. Now, I quartered them here. You'll see halfway through my cooking that they suddenly transform into smaller pieces. So don't take my advice. Do take my advice. Don't do what I'm doing just at this point. Cut them a little thinner. It just makes them easier to stir in the pot. I just wanted to show you how very easy it is, because we're going to put these all through a sieve when we finish cooking. We're just going to get the flavours out of them. So we don't have to peel anything, we just roughly chop it. The carrots have been cleaned first, of course, and the pear, we'll just pop that into nice little chunks. Once again, you don't have to core this either. We're going to pop it through a sieve once we've got the flavour for it. Onions. Onions we're going to cut down a little more, because I really want to get some good flavour from those, and I'm going to soften them up in the pan. So we're just going to give these a reasonable chop. Take those bits off there, skin it. I'll not chop all the onions out, I'll just give an example of cutting 1 onion. Standard techniques for that. Just cut it down the middle, then chop it into little lines, and then just slice. I don't know, just have a look at the method. It's hard to describe, but it's very common and very simple. Lovely. You're watching, so there we go. Then there's the line bit. And then we just chop it. And that's the sort of chunks we want. Good. Right. That's how you chop an onion. So with the garlics, we're not going to take the peel. We're not going to take the paper off these. We're not going to peel them, basically. You might fire a bit on the floor, but what we're ultimately going to do is just give them a little crush. And because we're putting it through a sieve, it's not going to be a problem. Just give it a little crush like that, and that's it. That's all we need to do. Really easy, this curry sauce. All my recipes are really easy. Just tastes nice. Right, okay, so let's get the onions on. Start with a couple of tablespoons of oil, 1.5, 2, do it a bit, 2, full 2, maybe, no, yeah. 2 tablespoons of oil, give or take. Now a good swirl, and then our onions will go in when our pan has got to heat. It's got to heat, amazing. What an efficient oven. Good. Pop the onions in, and we're going to let these cook on a lowish heat for around about 5 or 6 minutes. We just want to turn them translucent, no colour on them, just soften them up. There we go. A little combine, looking good. Right, 5 minutes for those. When they've had 5 minutes, they'll look like that. See, no colour, just soft, translucent. Smelling great. And then in go with our carrots. First of all. And then our pear. That goes in. Good. And then the garlic. Just pop that in as well. Nice and easy. Give that a stir. Combine it all, and once again we want about 5 or 6 minutes on these, just soften them up a little bit. See what I mean with them carrots? They got on my nerves from this point. I don't know why I'm whispering. You can't hear me. It's me. Right, okay, when they've had 5 minutes, the carrots, you noticed, are magically a little smaller. We go in with the flour. We want to cook this flour off for about a couple of minutes, really. You put the flour in so it combines with vegetables. It's not dissimilar to when you're making a gravy and you're using the beef juices and the likes. You just want to cook that flour off with the rest of the vegetables. And we're also going to add the spices. So we've got the curry powder. That's the Garam Masala, 2 teaspoons of that one. Give that a good stir. good. 4 teaspoons of the curry powder. Give that a little knock there, good. The MSG, optional, but it does intensify the flavour. So if you can get it, and you can get it, do get it, because you should get it. Because it's nice and it don't give you headaches, don't make you feel sick. Right, give that a stir. Looking good, cooking those spices off as well as the flour. Good, good, good. Smelling great at this point, by the way. Right, so when they've had a couple of minutes just to cook them off, we're going to start to add our liquids now. Right, chicken stock. Now, don't add it all at once. Add it in little bits and combine. That stops lumps forming. We don't want lumps. So if you add it in little bits, stir it, combine it, let it thicken up, then that's the best way, and you'll end up with a much smoother sauce. There we go. Yeah, and we just add it in bits there. Keep stirring it. Once we've added all this chicken stock, it wants to simmer for around about 15 minutes. I'm being overly cautious. I mean, you can add it a little quicker than I've done, but I really don't want any lumps, and I'm quite enjoying stirring this. It's very therapeutic, so you'll just have to bear with me. It's nice, isn't that relaxing? Could be a little quicker though, Mark. A bit more in. There we go. Yeah, tiny bit. Well done. 2 tablespoons worth of sauce in. Awesome. Good work. Thanks. I think I might need to actually give that a little stir. It looks like it's some sediment. Right, give that a little more stir in, and then see, sauce, curry sauce coming together. A little stir up, and let's add the rest of that. In we go. Good. Back to business. Look at that. So now we've got a nice smooth curry sauce, apart from all these lumps of vegetables in, but we will end up with a smooth curry sauce when we've sieved it. In goes the rest of the liquid, so that's the soy sauce there, and also a tablespoon or 2 of honey. It's about 4 teaspoons of soy sauce. You pop in there, give that a little stir, let it combine, and then once, as I say, spilt a bit there, 15 minutes you want just to let everything get to know its neighbour and combine to a beautiful sauce. And then we're going to pass it through a sieve, and here's the sieve that we're passing it through after 15 minutes into a little smaller into a smaller pan. Get all those bits there now. Because these are all vegetables, we're not pushing any proteins through, so you can give it more of a push through the sieve to get some more of the flavours in there. We don't want an abundance of sauce because we're doing what they traditionally do with katsu sandwiches. We're just going to dip the burger or the fillet in when we've finished. So this will be a nice, strong, intensified flavour sauce. Okay, on with the wasabi aioli. For this we'll need 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, which we're going to mince up. We want 60 ml of extra virgin oil and 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I've combined them in there. We're going to need a couple of teaspoons of lemon juice, half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of wasabi, and the yolk of this egg. Just the yolk, not the white. Right, let's get our machine out. So first of all, we're going to crack our egg and separate the white, like so. A very complicated process. To me, to you. Yeah, we look good there. In that goes. Lovely. Right, you can make a very small meringue with that. I'll just put it off the camera. I've minced the garlic. There it is there, just minced up. Nothing added to it really. Just garlic. Pop that in. And our wasabi, pop that in as well. If you like it hotter, you can add a little more. That was a nice balance, really. There's the lemon juice, pop that in. Good. Right, we want to combine these bits now before we start gradually adding the oils. So let's start that on, just slow speed. I'm going to move the oil into this beaker so I can add it gradually. Beaker, gradual. Right, just speed it up a little bit, get it to around about a medium. If you find that it's separating at any point, stop adding the oil. Just keep whisking it and it'll come together. And then you can continue to add the oil again. That's it really. It's pretty easy. You can do it with immersion blenders. It's a lot easier to make your own oil. And nicer than buying this at the supermarket. And it's nice and yellow and fresher. Just gotta have a little patience when you're slowly adding the oils. Just a drizzle at a time. Make sure it's all coming together, and then you'll end up with a nice emulsified sauce at the end of it. It's the yolk that's managing to get everything to bond together. From a science perspective, it's very interesting. I'm not going to go into it because I don't know enough about it. I just know that it holds on to different things and combines it, and then you get an emulsification, and it's nice and it tastes lovely. Right. Leave that, it'll thicken up, so give it about 5 or 6 minutes. Clean up, knit something, do whatever you want. But then when we're done, you're left with that. As you can see, it's nice and thick. Let's just knock that off the whisk, and I'll show you what your finished wasabi aioli looks like, which is basically garlic mayo with Japanese horseradish. And it's really nice in chicken burgers, really complements the curry, but this will keep for a couple of days in the fridge. Mayonnaises are mother sauces, so you can use them to make aiolis, tartar sauces, a whole host of other things. Not custard. Don't use mayonnaise as a mother sauce for custard, even though it does look a bit like it. There we go. That's the sort of consistency you want. Nice and thick. And it really was tasty, this. Get it all scraped out. And there we have wasabi aioli. Right. Chicken. You may remember this one from earlier. These want to go into a deep fat fryer or a pan with some oil in at about 170 degrees, and they go in for about 6 minutes. All in all, put 2 in at a time. Don't crowd the pan so it loses too much heat. That's all you need to do for those bits. Right, our buns are going to be pretty simple. We're going to use brioche buns, which I'm going to slice and toast. I'm going to use a gherkin. It sounds strange, but Japanese pickles like the pickled ginger, it's just very similar. Oh, and good old shredded lettuce. Just adds a nice crunch to it. There, good. Okay, buns are toasted. Chicken's fried. Wasabi aioli's done. The curry sauce has been reduced and separated. We've got the lettuce and the gherkins, which you met earlier. Right, let's combine. So first of all, a good old dollop of our wasabi aioli goes on there. Be generous. It's a treat, this burger, so don't skimp on it. Nice bit of lettuce. There we go. And I've sliced the gherkins pretty thin. You want about 3 of the gherkins. It's up to you. You can have none of the gherkins if you don't like them. I do, so I'm having 3. Lovely. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is put the chicken thigh straight into the curry and just coat it, really. We don't want a big sloppy drippy burger. This is just perfect, and because the curry sauce is nice and intensified, it just adds that wonderful flavour. That's all we do. Pop your bun on top. And that's it. Oh, and it was amazing. Try it. You might like it.